Oh my goodness, it's getting good, everyone. Francesca has a woodcutter coming out. She's gonna chop them down. Send me your predictions right now. What do you think? Is Red gonna make it to the end of our story? We have this much left. Is Red gonna make it? Is he gonna get chopped down? Is Francesca gonna have us have some sympathy and keep him? Send me your predictions. Email me, okay? Chapter 43. That afternoon, I met my executioner. Oh my goodness. Hopefully you sent me your emails before we heard that. Not having teeth, I've never really understood the fear people seem to have of dentists. I've overheard conversations where the words root canal and cavity were used, but in tree world, those have different meanings. After seeing the tree cutter and their equipment, I understood. When a truck carrying powerful chainsaws along with something ominous like called a stump grinder shows up, well, you know you are in trouble. Mind you, the arborist is a great friend to trees. We need our limbs trimmed just the way that you need to cut your fingernails and hair. Although, for us, it's once or twice a year, and it's called pruning. I always feel especially elegant after a good pruning, but pruning is usually done with special shears that look like a giant scissor, or with a small saw on a long pole. Stump grinders are generally not part of the plan. It didn't help when 3 men wearing orange hard hats went to Francesca's door to announce that they were from Timber Terminator's Tree Service. I'm going to make a deposit on those silly hats, Bongo muttered. No, Bongo, I said, although the idea was tempting. Let's wait and see what's what. Maybe they're just here for some pruning. You really are an optimist. Francesca walked the men over, this time without Lewis and Clark, and they discussed costs and timing. That's right, they talked about cutting me down, even as they enjoyed the shade from a lovely limb. I talk about insensitive. One of the men, he introduced himself as Dave, climbed the ladder to inspect my hollows. Agnes, Harry Spiders, and Big U eyed him warily, ready to defend their babies. You've got some critters here, ma'am, he reported. Yes, I know, Francesca said. Every year like clockwork. Bongo flew up to a spot near Agnes. Just one deposit, she said under her breath. That's all I'm asking. Situations like this, we generally advise cutting in late fall, less likely to disturb any nests. I've got that covered, Francesca nodded, hands on hips. Animals and birds hightail it out of here every May 1st. Wishing day, you know. Dave scratched his stubby chin. Wishing day? People make wishes, put them on the tree. Animals and birds don't like all the noise. If you could do this tomorrow afternoon, the timing would be perfect. You work on Saturdays, right? Sure do, Dave shook his head. Wishing day, he murmured. Now I've heard of everything. Francesca nodded. She patted my trunk. Yeah, craziness. Can't believe I put up with it as long as I have. Chapter 44. Early that evening, Francesca stopped by the blue and green houses. My houses. One with black door, one with a brown door, one with a yellow mailbox, one with a red mailbox. She knocked on each door. She explained her plans for me. Both sets of parents said they understood. They would be sorry to see me go, but it would be a relief to see the end of wishing day, wouldn't it? And my absence would mean more sunlight in their living rooms and fewer acorns underfoot. Okay, at least they'll let me make a deposit on the parents, Bongo grumbled. More sunlight? The nerve. How about less oxygen, people? Less beauty. Thank you for defending me, Bongo, I said, but no depositing. Samar and Stefan were not so understanding. They ran after Francesca as she crossed the lawn. Samar pulled on her sweater. You have to listen to us, Samar said. You can't cut down the tree. I can't? Francesca inquired. And why is that, my dear? Because, Stefan said, panting, it's alive. I'm quite aware that it is alive, Francesca said. It's a common trait of trees. She paused, peering down at the ribbon around Samar's neck. Why, I know that key, she said. I recognize the ribbon. A crow gave it to me. No kidding. Smart birds, crows. Samar slipped the ribbon over her head and handed the key to Francesca. Oh, I don't want that old thing, she said, giving it back. You can keep it. It just made me remember. It's not important. It opens a diary. My great-great-grandmother Maeve kept a journal after she moved here. So that's what it's for, Samar said. Where is it, Stefan? Open the journal. Attic, maybe, or no. It's still in the shed behind Samar's house. Got a lot of old family stuff stashed away out there. She gave a wary smile. Unless it all floated away, backyard's pretty wet right now, which is why this is one of the reasons it's time for this tree to say goodbye. Samar wiped away tears. You don't understand this tree. It's almost like it's human. That's sweet, Francesca patted Samar's head. But honey, it's just a tree. She squared her shoulders. Now I must go feeding Lewis and Clark. I can hear them complaining from all the way over here. And I've got a busy day ahead of me tomorrow. As she moved to leave, Stefan stepped in front of her. Before you go, he said, his voice firm. Just listen. He turned to me. Say something, he instructed. Please, tree, Samar pleaded. What do you think he did? You think the tree spoke up to save his life? This is the time to do it. Come on, Red. I kept silent. What more was there to say? Francesca looked at Stefan and to Samar and back again. Children, she said, perhaps those video games you're playing have idled your brains. Talk, tree, Stefan said. Silence. I can talk, Samar told Francesca. Real words. It told us a story about Maeve. Francesca, for a moment, hesitated. She looked at me. You mean metaphorically, of course. The tree seemed to talk to you. The leaves whispered and so on. It told us about the hollow and the baby. Francesca blinked. The baby? Yes, Samar said. The abandoned baby. Again, Francesca paused. Of course, I've told that family story before. You probably heard it from a neighbor. Stefan shook his head. We heard it from the tree. Oh my, said Francesca, waving a hand in front of her face. You're wearing me out, you two. I am so very glad my parenting days are behind me. Listen here. You get a good night's sleep, understand? Or maybe some counseling. As quickly as she could, Francesca made her way across the lawn, her shoes caked with mud. Francesca, Stefan called. It's just a tree, dears. Repeat after me. It's just a tree. I was wondering if we could look at the diary. She glanced over her shoulder. Maeve's journal? Be my guest, if it's not underwater by now. She held up her palm. Just no more tree craziness, you hear. When Francesca was back in her house, Stefan and Samar looked at me accusingly. Why didn't you talk? Samar demanded. Because it was foolish. Because I wasn't supposed to. Because. Looking defeated, Stefan and Samar trudged away. They hadn't gone far when Samar paused and turned to Stefan. Something happened today, she said. People at school were being weird, talking about me, whispering, passing notes even. She narrowed her eyes. You didn't tell anyone, did you? About what happened last night? Of course not. Then I wonder what was going on. You're probably imagining things. I don't think so. I mean, I'm used to people talking about me and being mean, but this was different. Things aren't always what they seem, Stefan smiled sympathetically. Come on, let's go check out that shed. I watched the two of them head towards Samar's backyard. They were talking, laughing, becoming friends, perhaps. Maybe I hadn't been so foolish after all. All right, we're going to stop right there for today. Have a wonderful day. Miss you all. Bye.